are live. Looks like we're going to be drafting from the 3 slot. Hopefully, my microphone is picking up everything all right. We'll see kind of, I guess, once this stream ends or once I go back and try to post this up to YouTube or something. Not too sure really. But anyway, welcome into the fantasy draft room. We drink, we make picks. Uh, yeah, it's drafting from the 3 slot. Hopefully, we can either get the Cup or Christian McCaffrey pick here. I think I'm going to really try to attack the LAR or Los Angeles Rams super stack here in this draft if I can. I think that's kind of been my strategy that I really want to try to do if I am able to get Cooper Cup here. Because you can get Cup, you can get Allen Robinson pretty late, and you can get Matthew Stafford as your QB1 pretty late. I think that's a solid strategy as far as, good stacks for best ball underdog leagues. Anyway, we'll see who goes off first here. Should probably be Jonathan Taylor. Seems to be the consensus 101. Yeah, pretty heavily consensus 101 ADP pick by the Fantasy Squancher. And it looks like he timed out. Nice. Starting it off with an auto pick. So that means Jonathan Taylor will go off the board. Let me just make sure that I am recording. All right, looks like we are good. I've had that problem before. And the Cooper Cup pick does come off the board. So that means we will be taking Christian McCaffrey and we'll be looking for our stack later. Unfortunate. Kind of wanted to try out that strategy, see where I could get those players. Jamar Chase off at the 4. But can't complain about getting Christian McCaffrey as your first overall pick at the 103. I mean, hell, last 2 years he's auto consensus 101. A couple of injuries have taken that away from him now, put in a little bit more risk, but if he plays even 14, 15 games, he's still probably the number 1 overall player in fantasy. So Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, and Derrick Henry, Austin Eckler off the board after that. And then Najee Harris. I have done my initial first round of projections for the offenses this year. I hated what came out of it. I do have a couple of things to fix up. I gotta raise up a couple of stats for I think the 49ers. I had them low in pass attempts and forget exactly what else. But man, I was really surprised at what came out of the Bengals. Joe Burrow came out like QB 13. Jamar Chase down at wide receiver 6, and then T. Higgins at wide receiver 22. Did not think that would be happening whatsoever, but that's just the way I averaged out the stats, put in some regressions for Joe Burrow in the passing game. His passing touchdown efficiency, I think, was really high last year, and I brought that down a little bit, and it just nuked his value because he doesn't have the rushing upside to hold him up. So we'll see how that plays out. I'll probably have to 13's too low. I'll have to bump him up somehow, go back in there and retool with the stats, but haven't gotten around to that yet. Anyway, let's go back to see what we got off the board. We got Diggs at the 109, followed by Dalvin Cook and Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams is another stack that I think I've been liking, that I've kind of wanted to test out here if you are in the back end of the first round. I think that's a pretty good stack where you can go Devontae Adams, pick up Waller in the mid rounds, and then Derek Carr as your QB1 in the mid rounds as well. I think that's a pretty solid way to go. And then Joe Mixon, I think that's another reason why I had the Bengals so low, was because looking at their run pass splits, I figured looking at the run pass splits, especially from the first 2 years, I think, of Zach Taylor's offense, they're really, really pass heavy. It was an air raid system. This last year, they really changed into more of a run-first system with Joe Mixon. And so, I mean, I think they were in the bottom 8 of pass attempts last year. And if they're in the bottom 8 of pass attempts again this year, like I said, that efficiency was the only thing propping up Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins to the value to the potential that they were able to achieve this last year. And if the efficiency isn't there, they got to come down. So we'll bump them up a bit, but I was really surprised when those numbers came out. So at the 2-1-2-2, we got our first 2 tight ends off the board, and Travis Kelce, Mark Andrews, followed by Alvin Kamara. Oh, that's looking a little bit weird with my TV over there. It looked like Alvin Kamara. Anyway, then followed by CeeDee Lamb. Alvin Kamara this early, though, with the possible suspension looming. I don't know if I can really get behind that. We do need to start looking into my pick right here. This would probably be Mike Evans. Mike Evans came really high out in my projections, especially with Russell Gage being really the only backup, and then Godwin being out. I think I projected him out for like the first 4 games. I didn't have him going on the pup to miss the first 6, but you also have the questions of, is Gronk going to come back yet? I still think he does, but even if he does, how many games does Gronk play? He's probably missing at least 4 to 6 games. It looks like we are going to get the Mike Evans pick. I am going to take him over Debo. I think there's too many questions surrounding Debo. Does he have the same utilization if he stays? If he doesn't stay, where does he go? And then his efficiency on the ground game was what really propelled him up to be the wide receiver 2 last year. So I think I'm going to pass on that. We're going to take Mike Evans. And then we may honestly turn it around here with Leonard Fournette and look for Tom Brady and Gronk. Get a Patriots. Woo, that's been a little bit of a flashback. Get a Tampa Bay Buccaneers mega stack with the wide receiver 1, the tight end 1, and the running back 1 projected, and the QB 1 all in there on that same offense. If that Tampa Bay offense hits like I think it will again, as long as Brady doesn't fall off a cliff, which he's never seemed to do, that'd be a really, really nice fat stack there, especially with Christian McCaffrey as your RB1. But Leonard Fournette did go off the next pick, followed by A.J. Brown, T. Higgins, and Deebo Samuel. I really need to stop talking through these picks as much so I can look ahead to what we've got. Saquon, James Conner, Cam Akers don't really excite me looking at the wide receiver position. We can look at Allen, Pittman. Pittman actually came out really high, but I'm going to leave the possibility open to see if maybe a Justin Herbert can come back to me and see if we can start trying to build a LAC stack. So that's where we're going to go with that one. Maybe the wrong pick. I kind of had to rush that one through. First stream I've been doing here in a long while, so trying to figure out how much I can talk through and give opinions on stuff and actually put my picks up in order as well. So, but starting off, Christian McCaffrey, Mike Evans, and Keenan Allen, I have no problems with that. Cam Akers off the board next, and then followed by Kyle Pitts. Cam Akers, I really just don't know. I'm not going to buy into it. His efficiency was horrible, even though he came back early off that Achilles injury. I feel like we're just, as a community, fantasy community, just saying like people can come back off these Achilles injuries now just because we've seen like 1 or 2, but like before that, it was almost considered career-ending for a running back to have gotten an Achilles injury. We just saw Dante Foreman come back after like 2+ years. He finally returned to looking normal. I'm not gonna bet on the guy that was rushed back and had horrible efficiency whenever he did get on the field. I mean, all power to him for getting back on, but I'm not gonna take the risk there, especially in a backfield that Darrell Henderson presumes to have a little bit of a role. They drafted Kyron Williams to probably be a little bit of that third down receiving back as well. Yeah, I'm just not going to buy into it. Josh Allen, Michael Pittman, Saquon Barkley, followed by Deontay Johnson. All right, let's look ahead. Let's try to get a little bit of a strategy here. Here's my stack with Mike Williams. That's going to be the first player. Let's get that Justin Herbert on the board, followed by Patrick Mahomes. And Lamar being over Herbert is kind of interesting in ADP to me. I mean, it is only by less than a pick, so I guess that's not too terrible. Let's go through the running backs, see who I would put on the board or on the queue. We'll put Zeke on the queue, Montgomery. Brees Hall actually didn't come out very high in my initial projections. I don't really like any of this little group until you get down to Travis Etienne and the Josh Jacobs, Elijah Mitchell territory. So we'll probably be avoiding the running backs for a little bit yet and just keep hammering home on the wide receivers. Hollywood, it's rough to project exactly what Hollywood's role is going to be at this point for me, I think. You've got the DeAndre Hopkins for the first 6 games suspended. So I think he's really going to shine then. But what's his role when DeAndre Hopkins comes back? I know DeAndre wasn't the target hog we've seen. There goes my Mike Williams possible really good stack there. It's probably living a dream that didn't have much legs to stand on it. But we do have Chris Godwin here. We'll put Chris Godwin up. We still can get the Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, and Tom Brady stack. And then instead of using Leonard Fournette as running back, we can get the wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2, if Chris Godwin does come back healthy within the first, 3-4 weeks. And then the Tom Brady late. Other than that, though, I do still like Amari Cooper. I think his boom bust one isn't as bad to take a hit on whenever you're playing best ball. And then two, I think that's going to go away a little bit whenever he's playing with Deshaun, hopefully in the second half of the year. I think Deshaun, if I had to take a stab at it, 6 games. But, we don't really know anything right now. I know they just had their league meeting with him in Houston to see, kind of get initial talks going, I guess, on the league side of things. So hopefully we get some news out of that pretty soon so we don't have to keep going into these drafts blind about the Browns offense and where it's going to stand. George Kittle, I'm completely off of. I don't really understand hype around him, but going through, I kind of like to get cues going for each one of the positions. Looks like we probably are just going to take the Chris Godwin pick here. Zeke is definitely interesting, though, just to lock up a solid RB2. But I think that's a little bit too much injury risk. I guess not really injury risk, because Zeke played through his injuries last year. But CMC and Zeke on the same team is it's an old team with Zeke, CMC, Evans, and Allen. He did take David Montgomery, but we are going to try to live the dream and hit the nice stack in the Tampa Bay offense with Godwin, Evans, and Tom Brady. Hopefully, Chris Godwin comes back off that ACL injury a little bit earlier than we all think. Hopefully, he only misses a couple weeks instead of what I was projecting, I think I projected him somewhere between 4 and 6 games being out. I might have put him on the pup in my initial projections, but if he can only miss maybe, let's say, 2 games, there's a chance he's back before the season even starts. ACLs are healing a lot quicker now. Anyway, we're going through Zeke, Cortland Sutton, Allen Robinson. That's a drastic improvement in his ADP compared to where it used to be whenever I was last drafting here. It's been a bit since I've been on and looking at it, but that is definitely a high improvement in his ADP. Probably closer to what it should be. Looking here at what we've got on the board, I think these wide receivers are just going off the board so quickly. Let's get the actual board up here real quick. Yeah, these wide receivers are just flying off the board, so I think it creates a little bit of a value for us here at running back. And we got 3 seconds left, so we are going to take Travis Etienne. Kind of like I was saying with the Cam Akers pick, the injury to Robinson at the end of the year. I think his name's, oh my God, why am I blanking on James Robinson's name? There we go. Yeah, that is his name. Just had to use it in a sentence apparently. But yeah, the injury to James Robinson, he tore his Achilles decently late into the year. Like I said, I don't know why we're just projecting these players to come back and have a role this year. They didn't really add anybody in the draft. Like what they added Snoop Connor, I think, in the 3rd or 4th round in the rookie draft. Like nobody really had a good grade on Snoop Connor in the fantasy community coming into the preseason or coming into pre-draft process. I had hardly even heard of him coming out of Ole Miss. I think I heard more of Jerrion Ealy coming out of Ole Miss than I did Snoop Connor. So I think Snoop Connor probably takes a little bit of that first, second down role, and then you have Travis Etienne coming out of the backfield, catching passes and rushing still a good percentage of the time on first and second down as well. I think he could have a big role as long as that Jacksonville offense can take a little bit of a step forward. So looking at our team, we got the CMC first pick, Travis Etienne, Mike Evans, Keenan Allen, and Chris Godwin, shoring up our wide receiver and tight end, or wide receiver positions. Tight end and QB still empty. Let's get a good look at that. Oh, dang, can't see the draft board right now. Let me see if I can pull that up real quick. Screen share, no. Let's see, no. Uh, Nope. It's been a while since I streamed here, trying to figure this out again. Add a layer. It's going to be screen share. Add. Change. And we're going to see if it's this one. Yes, it is. There we go. Save that. Alright, so here's a look at our full board. Let me see if I can take off the actual link there. Get that out of the picture. Nope. Alright, this is why we should probably figure these things out before I go to trying to draft. But anyway, that's an overall look at the board. I'm going to look at it on my own. Just in case I'm accidentally doing anything I shouldn't be doing. But looks like we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 quarterbacks off the board. Wide receivers in this draft are just flying off compared to the running backs. And they're continuing to go with Gabriel Davis, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Rashad Bateman all going off the board. Let's get back. Let's put up some cues. I really like Treylon Burks in his rookie year. I'll put these at the top as I'm trying to kind of go through them here. Michael Thomas, I'm just a little bit worried about yet, especially with the drafting of Chris Olave and the addition of Jarvis Landry. Almost kind of gives me a little bit of concern that Michael Thomas might not be ready for the beginning of the season or might not play with him this season in New Orleans. Going down a little bit further, man, there is not much on this wide receiver board that I like. Thank goodness we got our three I think, pretty stud wide receivers here early. We did lose 2 of the quarterbacks off the board, so we need to keep an eye on that. We'll get all 4 of these quarterbacks here put on the board. We do have Tom Brady at the top. Like I said, do this wide receiver stack with Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. We might be looking to finish up that stack on the backside of this turn in the 7th round, and then take whoever we think is the best prospect here at the 6. And it looks like it's probably going to be Treylon Burks with how heavy these wide receivers are. Like I said, with how heavy these wide receivers are going off the board. We've got 2 pretty solid running backs, in my opinion, with CMC and Travis Etienne. CMC can carry us for a lot of that running back production. I'm a little bit worried about the wide receiver production yet. And I don't like any of the vets here on the board, at least at the price. DeAndre Hopkins would be the easy one if he wasn't suspended that first 6 games. And I talked through my pick, but luckily we set the queue up right, and Treylon Burks would have been my pick anyway. And so we're perfectly fine there taking Treylon Burks. And I do think this is where TJ Hawkinson was definitely probably the other person that I was eyeing. Hopefully, we got a 6-7 turn of 2 QBs in Kyler Murray and Jalen Hurts. Russell Wilson next. We are taking Tom Brady, locking up our stack, and we are taking the QB run. The one that we wanted fell to us. Thank goodness we got through that. All right, so we do complete the stack. Tom Brady, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. Real late. Right now we're doing it just so I don't forget. We're putting Rob Gronkowski all the way down there at ADP 128 into the queue right now, making sure, if we can get a full stack of all 4 of those guys, Gronk, Evans, Godwin, and Brady, you control that entire passing offense. Whew. That was a brutal run right there. Brutal run of quarterbacks going off. All right. This is the fantasy draft room. I need to drink a little bit more. All right. After we had the QB run, Hunter Renfrow, Miles Sanders, Kenneth Walker. Kenneth Walker as a rookie, I'm just not too excited about. I am excited about running back Cordero Patterson, who I actually think is going to move back out to the wide receiver position for the majority of this season. They're going to give me wide receiver snaps as in the running back position, all the way down at I don't know exactly what positional rank. RB 27. Yeah, I'll take that. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, not about that one. Damian Harris, touchdown regression should limit his production this year in terms of fantasy. I'm a little bit interested in Kareem Hunt and Devin Singletary. I definitely like Devin Singletary over James Cook. It's interesting that they're going back to back in ADP on Underdog here at 105 and 106. Literally one ADP, one positional ADP apart. I still have to believe that Chase Edmonds gets the majority of the workload in Miami. And then, okay, we do have Drake London going off the board as well. A lot of these rookies coming off here. Followed by Dak, Hopkins. All right, let's get maybe running back is drying up. Oh, and we crashed. Let's go refresh. Come on. There we go. We're back. We do definitely need to be looking at another running back here, though, because after these four that I think I have on the board here in Patterson, Hunt, Singletary, and Edmonds, we are falling off in what I think is actually good value at the position. You're going down to Ronald Jones, Michael Carter, Spiller, Algier. It's it gets rough at running back quick. Wide receiver, however, I like the chances of Sky Moore. Brandon Ayuk, I don't have too much hope for. I still think Trey Lance probably ends up getting the quarterback job in San Francisco at the end of the day, and I think that hurts the potential of all the receiving options in San Francisco. Tyler Lockett, until they can prove to me that they get their quarterback position figured out, I don't think I'm going to take a single Seattle receiver. Olave, like Kirk. I, oh man, I'm going to put him on the board, but I don't think that I can go Gage as well and put that much into a Tampa Bay offense. Maybe, you know what, the pick probably was here. Let's go back to the draft board because I think that the thing that we probably should have done here was if we didn't take Chris Godwin and we were to take David Montgomery, who went a pick after us, we probably could have gotten Russell Gage here at this pick. And if we could have done that and skipped out on the question marks surrounding Chris Godwin and his ACL injury, that's probably the better way to go there. So, learning lesson. Like I said, I haven't done a draft here in a bit, so good to get back into the swing of things. I do really like the Al Lazard. This is why I kind of like. Um, yeah, no, it definitely should have been. If we could have removed Chris Godwin, shored up a David Montgomery type in our running back position here, I love the type of wide receiver or running backs we could have wide receivers we could have been getting at the what is this the 8-9 turn, and if we could have had a really solid core at running back, because I do think there's a massive tiered gap between the David Montgomery types and the types we're looking at now of Cordero, Kareem Hunt, Devin Singletary. I do think I'll probably actually have Kareem Hunt over Cordero Patterson. Just a little bit more known of a role between the running back and wide receiving, or and the receiving options there. Um, Looking a little bit more, I want to add a couple more to the wide receiver queue. Woods, Gallup. I like Gallup, but I'm not going to double down on the ACL injuries of how soon are they going to come back with him and Godwin already on the roster. And it looks like we're going to have to skip that, and we're going to be looking at the. Let's go back to the main board, see where we got Damian Harris, Chris Olave, Aaron Rodgers, Trey Lance. Yeah, we're going to lock up that third running back, and we're going to take Kareem Hunt here. If Underdog will let me click the draft button. There we go. All right, so we've got a 1-3-4 roster construction right now, and quarterback, running back, wide receiver. Um, I really like this little group of wide receivers here. And by the time we get picked up on the board, we're probably going to be too late to get any of them. So I'm probably just going to take my best in this little tier that I have, and that's going to be Alan Lazard if he does get back to us here at this next pick. Russell Gage goes off the queue. Come on, you Gexilis, and he doesn't take him. He does take Rogers though. There's no possible secondary stack with Alan Lazard. That would have been real nice, maybe coming back on the 10th round pick, but I still like the value in Lazard. Unfortunate for him that he loses out on Rodgers. Let's see, maybe he took let's see our board. Maybe he took a Watson here a little bit ago. Doesn't look like that happened. Um, Actually, don't see where he went off the board. Maybe he's not off the board yet. That's probably what we got. But let's look at the two quarterback teams. We've got a lot of teams with no quarterback here at the back end. A lot of two quarterback teams up here at the front. Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert, Kyler Murray, Jalen Hurts, Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers. I still only have Tom Brady. And then there's these four single quarterback teams here. I just realized I wasn't showing y'all the draft board as well, so I'll give that to you here so y'all can look over it, see what I was talking about there. After my pick of Alan Lazard, we got Robert Woods, Pat Fryermuth, Zach Ertz, and Christian Kirk coming off the board. We're going to switch back to the main screen here and get us a look at possibly looking into a second quarterback now. Um, let's look at who we got at wide receiver so far. Evans, Allen, Chris Godwin, Traylon Burks, Alan Lazard. So the only quarterback that we could possibly stack is Ryan Tannehill late, and I'm not too excited about doing that. So really we're just taking best quarterback available, unless there's some wide receivers here on the board yet that we like that we could possibly try to stack on the 10-11 turn. So let's look into that. Claypool, Tony, Watson, Scantling. Let's look at our quarterbacks actually first. So we've got San Francisco, Cleveland, Miami, Chicago, Jacksonville, Jets, and Indy. I don't think any of those we can really stack anybody besides if we're looking at them both. Yeah, I really don't think we're going to be able to get a good secondary stack here. It's probably just going to be some late round darts with whatever mid range QB we do take here. That's the Christian Watson pick that I was looking at. We do need to keep an eye, look back again at our Rob Gronkowski because I do want him still as our tight end one, and then we'll take maybe one or two more shots at tight end later to shore up that position. I do really like Mike Gesicki this year. I know I said I was out on the George Kittle pick, I believe, but George Kittle's value compared to Mike Gesicki's value running what we think will relatively be the same offense, you're getting Gesicki much, much later. Let's see if there's any possible stacks here coming up with the tight ends. Cole Kmet's interesting. The Bears are going to be a very bad team this year, projectedly, and they're probably going to be down and throwing the ball a lot. They don't have many receiving options, so possibly looking at a Justin Fields, Cole Kmet stack. I wouldn't hate it. I think I've done it a little bit too many times because I think it's just so late and so easy that I do it, especially as I was starting off this year. I was trying to do kind of a late QB strategy, and it seems from what I've been hearing from people that it's really better to try to take two mid-tier QBs. But it does look like we're falling into that trap again. And Justin Fields and Tua are probably my two favorite uh, quarterbacks on the board. So we're probably going to fall either into a Tua Gesicki stack at this turn, or we're going to fall into a Justin Fields Cole Kmet stack at this turn. And then we'll look more into the running back and wide receivers later. But I'd like to shore up those two positions a little bit more than I currently have. Now, the bad thing here is if I do double stack with the quarterback tight end options of either Tua and Justin or and Gesicki and Kmet, I probably can't get Gronk. coming back to me. So looking at their ADPs, Cole Kmet's ADP is actually going to be a lot lower than Gesicki's ADP. So if I do want to do the stack, I think I'm going to have to target the Justin Fields and Gronk here at this turn. And so that's what we're going to do. We're just going to play ADP game between Fields, Gronk, Kmet. And so looking at the ADPs, we're going to take Gronk, and we're not going to be happy about it. I don't know if this is the right way to play it out. Hopefully it is. So then this next pick here at the 11-3 would be Justin Fields. And then coming back on the 12th round pick would be Kmet. That way we can have the QB tight end stacks on both. The super stack with Tom Brady, Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, and Gronkowski. And then I can still get a little bit of a stack with Justin Fields, Cole Kmet, and then, hell, I mean, you can probably get any one of the Bears wide receivers in the last pick. I could probably take like a Velus Jones, Byron Pringle, Equiminius St. Brown. I don't think that's the pick you want to make, though. I assume Mooney's well gone off the board, but just to make sure, yeah, back in 66 ADP. So, yeah, looking here, we're going to take the Justin Fields pick as long as he doesn't go. He doesn't. Tyler Boyd does go. Between my picks, Devin Singletary, Robert Tonyan, Alexander Madison, Tyler Boyd, and then with the 11-3, we're taking Justin Fields. We get the stack, not probably the stack that we wanted. I probably waited a little bit too long here. And actually, we don't have the stack yet. Let's not put that jinx into the air. We don't have the stack yet. But ADP of 150 while we're still sitting here. We'll be coming back at what? Let's go back to the draft board real quick. We'll be coming back at the pick number 140. What's that? 142. So unless somebody's reaching a good bit on ADP, we're probably going to be fine with getting the Kmet stack. Tua does go off the board right after Fields, so I did probably have to choose one of the two there. We'll see if Gesicki goes before my next pick. So I do think I would rather have the Tua and Gesicki stack than the Justin Fields and Kmet stack, but playing the ADP game, I probably could only get one of those stacks back. Tim Patrick, still a value in every single draft. Algier, I think, is a really good value as well. Didn't show like the best production profile or the best tape rake or anything like that, but he's coming into a role where, like I said earlier, I think Cordell Patterson goes back to the outside. So what's his competition at the running back position? It's Damian Williams, and there's somebody else on that roster who's absolutely worthless. So, yeah. Rondell Moore, Albert O, and then Isaiah Spiller coming off the board. Let's build up our queues again for these next positions. I'm not going to go Rachaad White. I don't need any more liability on the Tampa Bay offense. Ramondre Stevenson, I'm not really that much of a fan of. I'll put Ronald Jones in the queue while we're this far down the board. Mostert. I always like Gus Edwards. I'll take Khalil Herbert. That's a nice little double stack up with the Justin Fields Kmet picks that I kind of like, or that I have going right now. TDP, Marlon Mack, Jamal Robinson, McKissick. I'll put Deontay Foreman on there. I don't think that Chuba Hubbard is going to be the backup to CMC anymore. I think we pretty much saw what we needed to see last year there. And Deontay Foreman was actually pretty good. So if I do want to possibly get a CMC insurance piece, the handcuff for CMC here late, then Deontay Foreman isn't a bad pickup there. After Spiller, Irv Smith Jr., Kenny Galladay, Deshaun Watson, taking the risk on the potential upside if the suspension doesn't happen this year, possibly, or maybe if it's a little bit shorter than we all think. Who knows? And then Ramondre Stevenson going there at the 12-1 to start off the 12th round. Gesicki's still on the board. Hopefully he goes off. Otherwise, we made the wrong choice. Hunter Henry going off the board before Mike Gesicki is the wrong choice. Like that's just a objectively bad pick. His touchdown regression should come down, especially with the addition of Devontae Parker to that offense, and he's only going to be reliant on touchdowns. I mean, I guess you're getting his spike weeks. We're up here in 4 picks. If Mike Gesicki doesn't go off the board, I'm going to be freaking pissed. No, I'm sorry. No, I'm going to be fucking pissed. That's what I'm going to be. We can curse on this show. I don't give a fuck. Anyway, going back, I like just Jahan Dotson this low. Definitely like that value. Van Jefferson, I really like. Um, Fuller isn't on a team yet. I've been talking with a couple people. Are you serious? Both of them? Did both of them just go off the board back to back? Or did I just lose one? Okay, no, I just lost Jefferson. Okay. But John Dotson did go right off the board in front of me. Looking at the ADPs of the running backs I have up, I don't think I probably need to take him, not at least at this pick. And I don't like any of these at the top of the board. So yeah, we're just going to be going wide receiver on this pick. It's probably going to end up being Van Jefferson because I like the value. And I don't really like anything else on the board up here. I mean, if we're going to the full board, Mike Gesicki's still on the board. I'm going to scream. I'm going to scream. Just cover your ears. You... How do both of them go? Both of them go the 2 picks before me? Fuck. I don't fuck. Give me Van Jefferson. Fuck you. Fuck you, Damien 57 and Gordilla or whatever the fuck your name is. God. All right. Still only have 3 running backs. That's an issue. This draft is now an issue. God damn. How did they both go? I still would have been fine getting one of them. Like, if I didn't get the field stack, I would have been fine taking Gesicki. I did not think that there was any way that both of them were going. Especially the 2 picks before me. I didn't even realize it was the turn. Full tilt mode. Good God. This is dumb. Who's left at tight end? Garbage. No, I'll take Gerald Everett late. God damn. Hell, who's on the board here? Bell, Davis, 7 seconds. 5, 4, 3. I'll take KJ Osborne. Oh my goodness! I should have taken a running back more than likely. I mean, we are sitting heavy 2, 3, 7, 1 on our positionals. I do still like this group of running backs here at this next turn, but full tilt, full tilt. Jacoby Myers, David Bell, Matt Ryan. I don't know if anybody's watching this right now. Can't really. I forget where my chat went. Anyway, all right. Let's get back into it. Polish this one off. Reset our minds. Get back into it. Draft's not over yet. We still have, what, like 6 more picks to make, something like that. All right. Let's get back into it. Crack one. Tilt it back. Reset our minds to what we need to do. Tight end. What do we have? Don't mind Njoku. But like I said, I still like Gerald Everett. Jared Cook was really good in that role last year while he was like, 32, 33 years old or something. He was really good in that offense. I don't think Donald Parham's a problem anymore. I hope he comes back from that really weird head or neck injury that we saw at the end of last year. But bringing in Gerald Everett, I forget how much they paid him, but I think they gave him a sizable contract. Enough to make me have questions about his projected role. Upsetting because I have a decent amount of him in Dynasty. But Matt Ryan, Corey Davis, Zach Wilson, Trevor Lawrence, Naeem Hines, Daniel Jones, the QB 2/3s are coming off the board. With Tom Brady, Justin Fields, I don't think we're going to need another quarterback. I don't think we need to take three QBs. Really, only when you're like, I mean, you don't take a QB one, you take two QB twos and a back end QB three. Christian McCaffrey is going to carry this running back room. Like there's no other way we're going to win. Christian McCaffrey has to stay healthy in this league, otherwise this league's probably a wash and we're out. I mean, it's a $3 league. Who cares? But we'll be out $3. With Travis Etienne, Kareem Hunt. Yeah, let's just review real quick. Tom Brady and Justin Fields, quarterback. Christian McCaffrey, Travis Etienne, Kareem Hunt, Mike Evans, Keenan Allen, Chris Godwin, Traylon Burks, Allen Lazard, Van Jefferson, KJ Osborne, and Rob Gronkowski. We'll need to add a tight end, maybe another one in like the last round. Remembering that we've got Justin Fields on the team, so we're probably looking for maybe a couple of late round wide receivers from Chicago as well. I hate the Chicago offense this year. I don't think they have any wide receiver core really. I mean, what they're adding Dante Pettis and they added somebody else who's basically dirt tier garbage here lately. But somebody's got to catch the ball eventually. I thought it was going to be Cole Kmet. No tilt anymore. Anyway, we still got Khalil Herbert here on the board. That'll probably be the pick, this first pick coming here at the 14-10, because we do need to add something to this running back room. DJ Chark, I don't mind. Alec Pierce, I actually really don't mind. Jalen Tolbert. So I'm kind of liking some of this wide receiver. We're just going to leave this up right here. That way, well, I guess we can collapse it. He's first in my queue. He'll go off the board. So we'll take the full 30 seconds here, get our bearings back, go through this wide receiver board a little bit, see if we got any value that we like. Other than Alec Pierce, Jalen Tolbert, we'll be taking them at the turn here on the 15-3. Palmer, Watkins, Beckham, Jones, Hamler, Samuel, DPJ I have a little bit of interest in. Anderson, Mechie. And now we're into the garbage tier. Kendrick Bourne I have a little bit of interest in, not too much. Devin Duvernay, actually, if the Ravens for some reason don't add anybody, Devin Duvernay should have a really big role in that offense. And that's all we're going to do for now. Actually, nope, I just saw him. Byron Pringle, a last round target to stack with Justin Fields. I will take him over Velus Jones, the 25-year-old rookie I think he's going to be. Or maybe he'll be 24. Either way, he's super freaking old. He's probably able to register for an AARP card. Looking back at QBs, nope, we're not taking another QB for the rest of the draft. We're done there. Wow, real quick turn. Brian Tannehill, TDP, JD McKissick, Noah Fant off the board. We're here at the 172. Looking at our ADP, I don't really want to reach all the way up here for Devin Duvernay, but I think he'd be a good value here. We're going to play the game. We're going to take Jalen Tolbert and hope that he can step into that wide receiver 3 role for Dallas, maybe the wide receiver 2 role if Michael Gallup does miss a good number of weeks. Maybe he has a setback with his ACL injury, has to go on the PUP for the first 6 weeks. We could really see Jalen Tolbert have a pretty substantial role right out of the gate with this offense. I think that brought us back in. A little bit of insight into what I actually think could happen. We're back. We're back, baby. Noah Fant, Jalen Tolbert, Odell Beckham, Marlon Mack. I don't know what to think about Marlon Mack in that Houston backfield. As a Houston Texans fan, I think I'm just going to be screaming at the screen saying, why do we have Rex Burkhead on the field? But I mean, he was good last year, and the little bit of work that he got towards the end of the year after we cycled through the previous 6 running backs and shipped them off for 7th-round picks. Taysom Hill, KJ Hamler, Jared Goff, Brian Robinson coming off the board. Let's look at our tight end position again. Do need to make sure that we are targeting one of these guys here. If I have to take a shot on another guy, I'm not going to double up with Cameron Brate and Gronk, so that's off the table. I do think Austin Hooper could serve a little bit of a role with how depleted that receiving core is in Tennessee, especially after the departure of A.J. Brown in the draft by a trade to the Eagles. So we'll put him up there. I still think my pick is Gerald Everett. Like, that's probably going to be our next pick here if he's still on the board. Hopefully he can continue to fall. Um, let's get a little bit more at running back because we're still a little bit light. There are only four. I'd like to probably get up to maybe six with this team. What's our line? 2, 4, 8, 1. I think we can actually stick with five. I really like the Christian McCaffrey and Travis Etienne to head it up, and then the Kareem Hunt, Khalil Herbert, and then if I do go six deep, it would be Deontay Foreman would be the sixth, and then I'd add, maybe like a Sonny Michel type to cover that fifth spot, and then the sixth would just be insurance on McCaffrey. I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't mind Jamal Williams actually either. I think he's still going to have a little bit of a role in the passing work and still roll slightly in the running game too, as long as he can stay healthy. Keontae Ingram, I think, could have a little bit of a role. Just worried about him as a rookie. I think there's a little bit of inherent risk there, especially for what was he, a fifth round, sixth round pick. Uh, Not much that requires him to get that much of a workload. Ingram, Hubbard, Dearness, James White, Benjamin. Actually, Benjamin going above or behind Keontae Ingram is a little bit surprising. Like, Benjamin's been on that offense for a little while. I know he hasn't really done much, but are you going to trust the rookie that you drafted in the fifth or sixth round or the guy that you've had on your roster for 2 years to fill up the backup role to James Conner? I think that's interesting. I'd actually really like the Snoop Conner pick if I didn't have Travis Etienne. Definitely don't want double insurance with Deontay Foreman and Snoop Conner. Damian Williams in Atlanta, actually really like that. I really like that. I think he has a legitimate shot to be the running back one on this team, at least until Algier can prove that he can take over the role. Let's look back at the. I'm gonna leave Deontay Foreman at the start here, and we're gonna be taking Deontay Foreman. But I do want to get back to the draft board overall, looking at that. So we have three more picks. We're gonna be taking Deontay Foreman here, and then we're probably gonna be taking. We're probably going to be taking. Actually, we do still need the secondary tight end. Gerald Everett did go off the board. Actually, no, we're gonna switch. We're gonna take Austin Hooper. We're gonna take Austin Hooper. We need a second tight end. Man, if Gronk doesn't play this year, like if for some reason Gronk sits out or retires, this draft's fucked. It just is. Austin Hooper can't provide a tight end one value, and I don't know if I have the spots left to be taking another tight end. We're sitting on 2, 4, 8, 2. I definitely need a fifth, possibly a sixth running back, and then I'd really like to get another wide receiver in here too, but I don't think with the lack of starting. I mean, we've got yeah. Why am I blanking on the Browns' first running back? Anyway, if he goes down, Kareem Hunt could step into that role and be a RB1, but who knows if that happens. So I think we probably need to double up here on running back. We'll run with 8 wide receivers. I think we've got a really nice wide receiver core, actually, so I'm okay with that. And then we'll double up here. We're going to take the Deontay Foreman to secure the Panthers running back room first. Then we're going to wait for our 18-19 turn, make our last 2 picks. And we're not going to take. I'm going to trust that Gronk comes back, plays, because like I said, if he doesn't, the draft's fucked anyway. So we're going to trust that he comes back, can provide us some good value. We're going to take one of these 3 running backs, hopefully, if they all make it back to us. And then we're going to take Devin Duvernay or Byron Pringle. I actually like Duvernay over Pringle, but I may take Pringle just to get the stack with Justin Fields. We'll see how this plays out. Velus Jones goes. Velus Jones going over Byron Pringle. I don't know if that's exactly right, but hey, Dewey Mills. Dougie, General Mills, whatever you want to call him, Long Neck Mills. Anyway, go back to the full board. Um, we'll look over it here. Actually, I would actually want Damian Williams. Out of any of these three running backs, I'll take Damian Williams with the shot that I think he could actually be the wide or the running back one in Atlanta. Well, I don't think it's a good offense. I mean, hell, you're getting running back one touches if I'm right in my projection. Not full like workhorse running back or anything. I think he's like what 30, 31. I don't think he's going to be, you know, able to carry that. But if he does get, a good majority of the workload here, the 18th pick, hell, who cares? Anyway, let's go back to our draft board. Let's see maybe if there's any place that we really fucked up. See if there's any place that we think we got some good value. Like I said, if I could go back, I think this was the pick where I messed up with this Chris Godwin pick. I think I panicked a little bit, took Chris Godwin coming off the injury. If we could have gotten another running back there, had CMC, David Montgomery, and Travis Etienne, and then we could have swapped. Oh, I forget where it was. Where was it? Where is Gage? Yeah, and then we could have had Gage over Kareem Hunt. Yeah, so if you could have Russell Gage and David Montgomery or Chris Godwin and Kareem Hunt, I would take David Montgomery and Russell Gage. So I think that's where we really messed up in this draft. Um, you know, live and learn. Also had a full tilt moment, so that wasn't great. But uh, man, did not think that Komet and Gasicki would go the two picks before me. Like if you had to put odds on that, let's go like plus 1,000, probably even higher than that. I mean, out of all of the people you could have picked, you picked the two guys that I had in my queue that I needed. Forces us to be real weak at tight end. If Gronk, I mean, like we've been saying, Gronk doesn't play. Draft's over. Lost $3. Who cares? We'll have plenty more drafts here coming up. But as we come up on this last pick, we got what about 6, 7 more picks here. Devin Duvernay goes off the board. Oh, we do only have one more pick. Why am I thinking that we can get Damian Williams and Byron Pringle? No, we cannot do that. We will be taking Damian Williams, getting our RB6, running with 8 wide receivers, and hoping that that can serve us well. Knowing that Underdog is 1 QB, 2 running back, 3 wide receiver, and tight end, and flexes, 2 flex, I think, half PPR. I think we went pretty heavy. Man, this Chris Godwin pick, yeah, that's the pick. That's the pick that I wish I could have back. Also wish that I could get a Gasicki or a Komet. Couldn't do it. But you know what? I think with CMC, you're actually probably fine enough with having 5. You're betting on him staying healthy. I mean, this is a high risk lineup. It's high risk, high reward. It works out, you probably win the league. If it doesn't, you probably don't. You probably win nothing. You're not getting top 3, and it's not a best ball mania draft. It's just a $3 12-person league. You're only looking to make what, like, I think it's like 30, $40 off the top of it. Tampa Bay Lightning win. Let's go Bolts. Uh, and then in that case, we'll take the wide receiver pick in Byron Pringle to round out this draft as soon as the fucker who took Komet from me or Gasicki or whichever one you took, you rat bastard, Isaiah McKenzie off the board. We take Byron Pringle, round out this draft. Let's go through it one more time on the draft board. We started it off with Christian McCaffrey, Mike Evans, Keenan Allen, Chris Godwin, Travis Etienne, Traylon Burks, Tom Brady, Kareem Hunt, Alan Lazard, Gronk, Justin Fields, Van Jefferson, KJ Osborne, Khalil Herbert, Jalen Tolbert, Austin Hooper, Deontay Foreman to lock up that running back room in Carolina, and Byron Pringle to get a late stack with our second quarterback in Justin Fields. Going back to here, we got team exposures. We got, you can't see it on this screen. I cut it off a little bit too short. But 4+ on the Tampa Bay running, or the Tampa Bay offense, 3 in Chicago, 2 in Carolina, 2 in Tennessee, 1 everywhere else. We've got 2 quarterbacks, 5 running backs, 9 wide receivers, 2 tight ends. It's how you should probably be drafting most of yours is 2 blank blank 2, and it's probably either 6'8" or 5'9", 4'10", something like, not 4'10", probably. It's probably either 5'9" or 6'8". You got to have more wide receivers with starting 3 wide receivers every week. Hope you can hit on some late round shots. Hope you hit on the likes of Alan Lazard, Van Jefferson, KJ Osborne, Jalen Tolbert. I actually really like this group of wide receivers right here. I think is really, really nice. Like, I know they're all wide receiver threes, probably. Not exactly wide receiver threes on their team, but wide receiver threes in terms of fantasy ending rank. But one injury in front of them, I mean, you don't even need an injury with Alan Lazard. He's probably the wide receiver 1 this year for Aaron Rodgers. Van Jefferson, you have one injury to either Allen Robinson or um, Cooper Kupp. He's stepping into a wide receiver 2 role on the high-powered Los Angeles Rams. KJ Osborne, Adam Thielen's not the model of health. He probably can step into a wide receiver 2 role. And then Jalen Tolbert, if Michael Gallup's injury lasts into the season, he could start off the season as the wide receiver 2 there. So I actually really like this wide receiver core. Like we said, probably would have switched out Godwin for Gage if we could have done it over again. But overall, not a bad draft. Sorry you had to see me tilt. That was rough. I normally don't actually tilt in drafts, but I've never been fucked over like that in a good fucking minute. So yeah, at least anyway, uh, we're gonna end it with that. Cheers to y'all. Hope you enjoyed this episode of the Fantasy Draft Room Underdog Draft. Hopefully we can keep this up a little bit more regularly. It's been a long time since I posted anything on here, went live, or anything like that. So hopefully here in a bit we can kind of keep this more regular thing, try to build up a little bit of viewership. I don't know. We'll see. Doesn't work out, doesn't work out. If it does, be pretty cool. Anyway, cheers, y'all. I'm out.